everything, have kids. And if you don't take that route only, you're never going to be happy. And I just feel like, why are we like making it so that all women, or most, because I feel like that's also been a thing in this podcast, is like most this or a lot of this and a lot of that. It's just very like blanketing comments, and it's like, why do we have to put everybody in they have to have kids to be happy, or like they can't have a job or this or that? And I just feel like it's kind of sad that we need to force other people to do things that they don't want.
We haven't
to
been
not
saying
force,
that. We haven't been
but like
saying that.
Societally think like this should be this way, there should be change towards this way, that kind of thing, when it should just be like, if you don't want to have kids, you don't want to have kids, cool, fine with it. I don't want to engender this like societal change that needs to happen, from what I've been getting from what you guys have been saying.
Yeah, we haven't been saying like you have to have kids if you want to be happy. Okay. They didn't say that either, though. They didn't say you have to have kids if you want to be happy. As a general trend, like I said before, the number one. Hold on 1 second. Let me finish my point. The number one demographic of people on antidepressants: single and childless women in their 40s.
Can we look that up? Like, can I see that?
Yes,
statistic?
I will show it to you right now. I have it right here on my phone.
Yeah,
I will show it to you right now, and this will be great
Okay.
because you'll see how dramatic
and
the difference
too,
is.
like,
look at this right here.
Okay, can I see the actual paper that this came from? Like,
I don't have the actual paper handy. I only have the data right there in the graph.
Oh, just a figure. Okay, no data.
Yeah,
no
so look at the
no
figure.
Discussion.
Look at the figure. Look how much higher
childless
childless women in their 40s are than everybody else.
I would like to see the context of that study. I love to read studies.
What context do you need?
You can have a big.
Look it right there.
Yeah.
Right there. White women. Look at right there. White women in their 40s at the top of the graph. White men below that. Younger adults, minority women, minority men. Everybody else is lower than them. You don't need any more context.
Okay,
no, we do.
But Eric has just pulled this up like a Chad.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know if this is the same study that's from, but antidepressant use increased with age. Overall in both sexes, use was...
Both sexes.
So this is a different study, and it found the same results. Antidepressant use increased with age. Overall and in both sexes, use was highest among women aged 60 and over. Does it say anything about kids?
I doubt that, yeah.
Eric, did you just pull up a random ass unrelated study? All right, hide that.
I'd be willing to bet a large percent of those women that are 60 plus that are on antidepressants don't have kids.
That's an interesting bet, but okay.
But also, like, the point of saying this too is because, like, we actually do care. Like, a lot of girls are like, they'll say like, oh, you guys don't care and all this stuff.
Thanks.
Like, I don't know why you have that reaction to it. Like, I genuinely do care. I think Chase does too. And why don't you just go out and do some of your own research, all of you?
A lot of research.
And what did it show?
Honestly, it shows that women these days, they are happy with having jobs. They're happy with having freedom.
You have the studies? Let's see them.
I don't have the studies, actually. I'm
Why
not
don't you
going
have
to
the
lie.
studies?
But you don't have
We
the
just
study
pulled
either.
up
You
two
don't have a
data
figure.
sets.
You have a figure.
We just pulled up two data
figure,
sets.
babes, a figure. Come on now.
It's a freaking study published in the New York Times.
Okay.
Don't condescend to me. You know I just owned you with those statistics, and you're freaking wrong.
Okay, call it whatever you want to call it.
I'm calling it you being wrong, which it is.
You
It's a
showed me
fact. I just showed it to you.
You showed me a figure.
Yes,
With no
yes,
context,
based on
no
a
nothing.
scientific
Barely
study.
even a figure legend, so, okay.
I could present you with any amount of facts, and you'd be
Please
like, "No,
do.
it's not valid.
No,
it's not
please
valid.
show
It's
me
not
the
real.
facts.
It's not
I
legitimate."
would love to look at it, and if you're right, you're
We
right.
just showed you two studies.
You showed me a figure. Stop calling
Based
a
on
figure
a study. Based on
no,
a study.
figures
When you
aren't
do a
based off
study,
studies.
when you do a
Figures-
study, you take the data and you impose it on a
you're
graph
telling
so that you can
guys,
visualize
one-
do
it.
a study?
one microphone.
That's funny. Have you ever done research?
Guys, one microphone at a time, please.
If you've done research, you should know that you
I
take
do.
data sets and you visualize them on graphs so that it's
and
easier
then you have
to view.
to write context for those graphs, which are called a results section, and the methods and the discussion. Yeah.
Okay, so after
So-
this, I'll DM you the study, the
Okay.
actual study,
Love to.
and you'll
I
know
would
that it's correct.
Love to read it. Thank you. Please
Okay,
do.
great.
Again, all of you, I would recommend go and do your own research on these topics. Just go and look and see that a lot of this stuff is true.
And I think we didn't come into this podcast either, though, knowing we needed to have statistics.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Pulled up,
Not at all.
screenshotted with us, exactly.
I would be shocked if any of you did that. Like,
Right.
yeah.
So maybe
Just
have us
we're just
back.
throwing this. We're throwing this out
We
there.
have our own statistics and can defend ourselves a little better.
Yeah, and what I'm sure you'll find though is when you start doing the research that a lot of these things really are true.
That's possible, but we're not going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's
Right.
not even my goal. Don't even take my word. That's fine. Go and do your own research. That's my only goal.
Cool.
Yeah, our purpose for arguing this isn't to like try and force women to do something they don't want to do either. Like, I'm not telling you, you have to go out and have kids. You have to go out and have kids. Like, that's not what I'm telling you guys. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because this narrative that you don't need to have kids in order to be happy, and you can your way through your 20s and then not be able to find a guy when you're in your 30s who's a solid guy that you want. Like, this is so damaging to so many people in our society.
Yes.
The data is already here right now on the number of women that have been damaged by it. A ton of them are living with regrets. I don't want to see more women unhappy and childless when they're older. I don't want to see them buy into the lies. And if women can achieve happiness without those things, great. I don't think that that's true of most women. I think most women, if they buy into that, are going to be unhappy when they're older. And I don't want to see that, you know?
But I do believe the overall tone of this has been pretty like directed of like, you know, this is including to us when I've already kind of mentioned, and I think I'm a little more defensive about it because I come from Texas where I see like these dynamics of like, oh, I need to have a family in order to be happy, and then they have their kids and they're still not happy kind of thing, and they don't have a way to grow because they were so reliant on that to be a way of their happiness, and so it gets brought on their children. And you see all these generational traumas, like especially my generation just being affected from it, which is why I wanted to go to California, where I'm going to have all these progressive women who want their own dreams and passions kind of thing as their happiness, because we can find happiness in that.
I think you're making a good point there, because there are a lot of families that are unhappy, right? And they choose their partner in like the wrong partner, basically. Mm-hmm. But you can also take things too far in the other direction. Like you just said, like coming out and doing that. Like, I understand why you did it, but also I think that we're moving far too much. And I do blame a lot of it on modern day feminism for teaching these things.
I do have to give you like one point I do like agree with you guys kind of is like everything I think in society does move on this very big pendulum, just like kind of with the men is trash thing, you know, like it was kind of like pro women, pro men, and then it's like it goes in a pendulum. And I think like what y'all are kind of saying is like the pendulum's just very far in the other direction right now. So like hearing y'all's point of view from one side, it's really hard for us to find this clash of the middle, because when it comes down to it, we can have all our statistics, but our core beliefs are different. So yes, we both have different arguments and different discussions where it can lead different ways. But at the general thing of it, we believe we'll be able to get old and be happy without a family. Y'all believe that, and like you have some good basis for it. But in general, it is common to see, especially from past research of different generations where it wasn't as instilled of mental health and happiness within instead of without, that like we would be able to do that. And I mean, it's honest pessimism and it's grounded in a good source. So I definitely like give y'all props for that. But I also think like I have a lot of hope for the future of women, and that like we aren't going to need this nuclear family. But I also, my values don't lie in the family. My values lie in interpersonal, really like loving myself.
Yeah. And I'll just make this point one more time, which is that if you feel that way, I would recommend go to women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, go to them, the single women, and talk with them and see if like that really is something that you want to follow their projection.
But I just feel like there's such this huge divide because our generation is one with such a different access to technology, you know, like just having the iPhone since 2008, like we've completely become a different generation.
But what is that really going to change in a relationship?
Our access to information that can help us become the people.
You're still going to be lonely.
What does that change about what we are as core beings, though?
I think it provides us with like teachings from all types of like different places where we can find contentment in ourselves. We aren't focused so much on like just constant serotonin boost, where we can like find peace. And I think that peace is much more important than necessarily overall happiness. It's contentment.
So talk to those women about peace, how they feel peaceful, and all those things. I just think it would be good to talk with them, be like, is that really what you want? Do you really want to be going down that single path for your whole life? Like, you can say it, but just go. It's like the same with business. Like if I want to become like this guy in business, I'm going to go and mirror what he's done his entire life, right? So in the same way, if you want to become that type of partner or single person or whatever, then just make sure that's what you actually want.